this day and age, it's hard to get anybody to agree on anything. But one thing everybody loves, return on their investment. And the USTA is getting just that on their retractable roof overhead on Arthur Ashe Stadium, where the final major of the year is insured for the first time in decades to finish on time. Hello, tennis fan, and welcome to U.S. Open Morning Drive presented by Mercedes-Benz. They call him around here Mr. Washington. They just call me Kevin. Well, speaking of the roof, on Tuesday night, 2 matches marred by injury saw the roof closed for Caroline Wozniacki as she advanced to her first major semifinal since being runner-up here 2 years ago. Anastasia Sevastova turned her ankle in the opening set, never able to recover. Wozniacki advanced 6-love, 6-2. And for Novak Djokovic, my goodness, moving through the tournament as quick as the S-Class Cabriolet behind us. It's been a terrific event because he hasn't had to play a lot of tennis. Just 6 hours on court and 5 rounds, Mal, to advance to another semifinal.
It's the strangest thing I've ever seen in a Grand Slam, having a player come through like that and play as little as he has. Given the choice, he'd actually rather be on court playing more tennis than he is, but he's the number 1 player in the world. He doesn't have to prove anything. He knows what he can bring on the tennis court. He's going to be very fresh. He's played less tennis than anyone out there, so that is going to play to his advantage. Is it going to be a disadvantage because he isn't that term we like to use, battle-tested in this championship?
Yeah, for Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, now 3 matches of the 5 Djokovic has played. There's been a retirement or walkover, and Tsonga couldn't get past the second set. That means Djokovic, defending champion, into his 10th U.S. Open semifinal. Now let's turn our attention towards day 10 in the schedule. And speaking of day, let's focus first on night. Simona Halep, on a tremendous run, having won 21 of her last 23 matches, has had all of her U.S. Open matches played during the day. Now she has to take on number 1 player in the world, Serena Williams, who's been impeccable, hasn't dropped a set nor serve in the event.
I don't think Simona Halep playing at night is going to be that big of a factor considering she's played all of her matches during the day. The biggest factor is going to be how Serena Williams plays. We know when she's at her best, she's the number 1 player in the world, hands down, without question. So I think for Simona Halep, one of the big statistics she's going to be looking, or I'm going to be looking for, is her first serve percentage. If she's giving Serena Williams a look at a lot of second serves, that's where she can take advantage of that second serve. We know that Serena can serve. She has the best serve on the tour. She holds serve better and more than anyone right now. That's going to be a statistic. But I think for Simona Halep, she is going to hope that Serena maybe is a little bit off her game. And if she is, she has to take advantage of those opportunities.
And for Serena Williams, now just 3 match wins away from a record 23rd major singles title. She has the added comfort, Mal, of knowing she's beaten Halep in 7 of their 8 previous meetings. Well, the other quarterfinal features 2 first-timers, uncharted territory, never in the second week of a major, and now on the doorstep of a major semifinal. 18-year-old Anna Kanya of Croatia taking on 24-year-old Karolina Pliskova of the Czech Republic. This matchup, I'm not sure a lot saw coming, but Pliskova herself has been on a tremendous run.
She really has. Over the last couple of weeks, we've really seen what she can do. I think back to Cincinnati just a few weeks ago when she beat the number 2 and 3 players in the world in back-to-back matches to win that title there. But this is the matchup in the quarterfinals that I'm looking forward to. Yes, a lot of people want to see Serena and Halep in that matchup, but I love to see the young players who are in a position that they've never been in before, because I love to watch how they're going to react. So you have the 18-year-old and Kanya seeing what she can do in the quarterfinals, never been there before, but you have to give the edge to Pliskova because of what she has done in the past and because of her experience being able to win big matches.
So for Pliskova, who knocked out 6-seed Venus Williams, and the 18-year-old Kanya, who took care of 4-seed Agnieszka Radwanska, somebody's headed for a big day in New York City. Let's turn our attention now towards the men and 2 of the best returners in the game as they clash once more. It's the runner-up from 2 years ago versus the champion of 4 years ago. Kei Nishikori taking on Andy Murray, who's won 26 of his last 27 matches.
Well, when I look at this matchup, Nishikori and Murray, this is a marquee matchup that no one wants to miss. But the challenge for Nishikori in this match is the fact that they play very similar styles in that they're both going to play from the baseline, but Murray does a little bit better. They're going to be running down a lot of balls. Murray does that a little bit better. And when it comes just power to power, Murray's a little bit stronger. I look at the first serve percentage. They both return the ball well, but first serve percentage from Murray I think is going to be a big factor in this match. I give him the edge over Nishikori.
And the good news for Nishikori fans, he's finally healthy, having reached the round of 16 at all 4 majors in 1 year. First time he's ever done that in his career. The bad news, Murray, 6-0 in his last 6 major quarterfinals. Well, we'll turn our attention now towards the other quarterfinal that features the wild card from Argentina and today's cover boy, Juan Martín del Potro, making the most of that effort to get into the U.S. Open via the USTA wildcard, and he hasn't dropped a set. He takes on Stan Wawrinka of Switzerland, who beat the Argentine in their first 2 meetings, But Delpo's now trying to make it 5 in a row.
Yeah, but I'm not really convinced that Stan is playing his best tennis right now. He saved 1 match point, so in some regards, he's a little fortunate to be in this position. He looked really good in the first 2 sets of his last match, then dropped a close 3rd set, but then finished it off. You know what? I'm not going to talk anymore about these wrist surgeries that Delpo has had because I have no indication that he's injured anymore. He's playing some tremendous tennis, and when I interviewed him a few days ago, he's like, when my forehand is on, my game is on, but also his serve is on. This is going to be a great matchup. I have to give, believe it or not, I have to give the edge in this matchup to Delpo. I think even though he's coming in this championship unseeded, a wild card in this championship, I love the way he's playing tennis right now, so I'm giving him the edge.
And what we've seen from Juan Martín, he's been impressive, having won 9 of his last 10 matches, looking like he's in the form that won him the U.S. Open back in 2009. Well, we've been asking you, tennis fans, to submit your questions with the hashtag MBDrive so Mal can impart his knowledge. And we have a question from a viewer, at Mikhail Lauren, who wants to know what has been the most impressive performance or performances by a teenager at the U.S. Open.
Well, when I saw this question, I really thought of 2. In this championship, I thought of Anna Kanya. What she's done at 18 years old is phenomenal. I don't think people really understand how difficult it is to advance through a Grand Slam title, but just to think a couple of years ago, she's playing junior tennis, and now here she is in the quarterfinal of the U.S. Open. Tremendous. But the first thing that came to my mind, 1990, Pete Sampras, 19 years old, in that championship. He took out, in the final, Andre Agassi that we know. He also took out John McEnroe, and before that, took out Yvonne Lendl, who had been in the finals of the U.S. Open the 8 previous years. So those are the 2 that came to my mind as teenagers who've done stuff at the U.S. Open.
And of course, Sampras would go on to be #1 player in the world and win multiple majors. And Iva Majoli, who is the Croatian Fed Cup coach, says she sees the same sort of future for Kanya down the road. So kudos to her. We'll see how she fares today against Pliskova. Well, that's going to do it for our U.S. Open Morning Drive presented by Mercedes-Benz. He's Mal. I'm Kevin. We still got more coming. So come back and join us once again from New York.